Hey, Lois.
Oh, that sounds great, doesn't it?
Yeah, stay far, far away.
Order, roll call been taken. Thank you. Item 2, pledge allegiance and invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you that we can be here this evening to discuss very important issues. May you give the council the guidance and the wisdom to make those decisions. May you bless our community. May you bless each and every one of us. In Jesus' precious name. Item 3, approval of minutes of February 19, and February 19 and March 5th. Special.
Mr. Mayor, if there's no additions or corrections, I would go and make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that motion.
For a motion, second, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 4, are there any communications? All right. Item 5, public comments. Citizens may address the chair at this time. Please limit your comments to about 3 minutes to what pertains to the agenda. Is there anyone like to speak? John?
Wait, I gotta be sure. With the reply.
Otherwise, you have to sit through the whole meeting.
I'm not anything. I already had my say. See if I can hear him.
Yes, yes, it works. I'm so excited I didn't leave my cane behind. I guess this is part 906. I don't know what the 107, 121 is on the other side. We're going to develop an old factory building into, I don't know, a 70-unit apartment building. I personally think that if this deal falls through again, it'd be a great time to make it a industrial development building where people with ideas for businesses in town could have leases and rent a floor at a time or something and create new business in town instead of bringing enough people to fill 70 apartments with who are not here to build anything but only to wait for a check in the mail. Catch you later. Thank you much.
Anyone else? All right, I will close the public comments. Item 6, reports of standing committees. Under 6.1, Finance and Treasurer's Report. Mr. Floyd.
Finance met last Tuesday, and everything that we had talked about during the agenda is on the agenda tonight. I would move to receive the treasurer's report.
I would second that.
A motion and second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 6.2, General Operations. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, GOC met March 5th. Several of the agenda items that we discussed that evening are on our agenda this evening. And our next meeting is Tuesday, April 9th, right here in this room at 5:30, and we encourage public participation.
Okay, thank you. Item 6.3, Public Works. Someone from the Public Works Committee want to add anything? Since Gary's not here. All right. All right, then we'll move on. Whatever it might be on the agenda, so sure. All right, item 6.4, Town Delavan Lake Committee. We met last week, no, 2 weeks ago, on Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month. I'm filling in for Ron until he gets back from vacation. Wasn't a whole lot on the agenda. It was more discussion, more about the pellet application and how effective is it? Good discussion. People who live there believe it's doing very well. It just depends on how much rain you get. It affects the sediment movement. I know two people from the inlet are very happy with the application that they've had. Otherwise, there was discussion of the where the town park is, and they have a park plan that they want to do a walkway that goes all the way to that where that finger goes out by the inlet there. Develop a park plan there, which was pretty interesting. The only thing that was very interesting was that if, I don't know if this goes with whether you're a resident or not, but if you wanted to walk there now, they would charge $2 to walk there. And I thought that was kind of interesting, but even the person that on the park, their park board, didn't even realize that either. So I said, I think you need to revisit that. It's kind of tacky, I think. But needless to say, it was interesting. But anyways, that's pretty much the gist of it. All right, Library Board of Trustees, Session Brett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The committee reviewed questions for the interview process to hire a fundraiser for the new library addition. Collection agency had been hired to see if they could recover some lost materials, and they were actually able to retain some. Some items of cash have been recovered in the amount of $295.35, so we decided to retain their services for another 6 months, hoping they could get some more. And the library director reported that the elevator has been repaired and is now working. And she also reported that the new LED lights that were installed in June have saved a lot of money, and all the bills have gone down since that time. Our next meeting is March 28th at 5:30 at the library.
Thank you. Item 6.6, Water and Sewer Commission. Gary's not here. Guess we'll move on to the next one.
Don't you discuss the committee changing?
Oh, well, there's been discussion, and the board, or the commission felt by combining the Water and Sewer Commission with the Public Works Committee as one committee, instead of having two, which the two really work closely together, but they're two different departments, so it seemed to make sense to join them together. And maybe Denise can explain more of the details of that venture.
The proposal, which has received approval both from the Water and Sewer Commission as well as the Public Works Committee, would be to combine the responsibilities for operations and capital under the Public Works Committee and have city representatives that would be involved in that committee. And that is right now that the water and sewer both come under the, in the past they didn't, but they now all come under Public Works. So it seemed to make sense organizationally to have the same committee, but a broader committee review those projects. The financial responsibilities would be transferred to the Finance Committee, and they would be responsible for that. They are already really basically receiving those recommendations of the Water and Sewer Commission. Now they would be just doing it directly. And then ultimately to the council.
All right, thank you. All right, the Park and Recreation Commission. Session Brett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We met on March 5th at 5:30, and the director reported that the city's Park and Rec Department would be taking over the community gardens this summer that are placed near the board building. So there's going to be plots for sale for community members to buy and plant their own gardens. The commission approved the allowance of alcohol for 2 wine and walks at Congdon Park this year. One's on July 18th, and the other one's on September 12th. Those are from 5 until 7. as well as Phoenix Park for the summer concert series. A new playground was approved by the committee for Phoenix Park, and that is up for approval tonight from the council. And the Parks and Rec Commission would be looking to possibly replace current playground surfacing at Yaden Park as well with wood chips, because the current surfacing is having some issues. So our next meeting is March 25th at 5:30 here.
Thank you. Communications Commission, Mr. Trainer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Communications Commission was attempted to meet last night here at City Hall. Unfortunately, we did not have a quorum. So as I've mentioned numerous times, we're still looking for 2 people that are interested in potentially serving on that committee. It certainly would help us have a quorum. If we miss one person that can't make the meeting, then it's very difficult to have the meeting. Again, as I've announced in the past, this is a great way to, if you want to get involved. This committee doesn't meet as monthly, it meets quarterly, so there's a little less involvement, but at the same time, it's still a very, very important committee as we discuss communications here in the city and through videotaping our meetings, through the website, and other various things. So if there's someone that's interested in, or actually 2 people, if there's 2 people that are interested in serving on this, please let the city administrator know, the mayor, or any of us on the city council. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll look to try to meet next month.
All right. Item 6.9, Delavan Downtown Project Management Team, Mr. Trainer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The downtown Delavan, or the downtown project management team met here at City Hall last month, February 26th at 7 p.m. A few of the things on our standing agenda are the action team updates for storefront marketing. We do have a new salon with a coffee shop that's opened up in downtown. If anyone's stopped in there, it really looks nice, and would encourage you to check that out. We also talked about discussions of the downtown project management team sponsoring, in coordination with other civic organizations, beer walks and wine walks for this coming year. The next, which will actually take place on May 30th with a wine walk throughout downtown. So as many of you who participated in that the last time, last fall, that was certainly a big hit. And so we're looking forward to having a couple more wine walks, and including with that a beer walk, and some more details on that as we get closer. But mark your calendars for May 30th. It will be a great time. Also, it's not too, the weather's starting to get a little more in our favor, so it's not too early to start thinking about the use of Lake Comus, access and water sports, and bicycling, trailhead. So think about participating in some of those programs that the city offers and that the downtown project management team is promoting. And some brief discussions, but certainly things that the committee will be looking at more in the future is potentially establishing a Connect Communities. Maybe if there's interest in that amongst the committee and ultimately the council. So there'll be more details. Mainly it's just trying to find someone who could kind of coordinate more of the downtown events. It takes an awful lot of work, and as I've mentioned many, many times, we're always looking for volunteers, especially anyone that's interested in those events that are taking place in our historic downtown. And speaking of that, our last one was the downtown Delavan train show, and although the weather impacted things a little bit, it wasn't, we knew that we were probably due for that, because this is the 3rd year that it's been under the committee structure, and we've been pretty lucky in the past, and it kind of hit us this year a little bit. So attendance overall was down somewhat. We're still looking for all the preliminary feedback to come back to us, but roughly about 3,300 people participated. Those are the early numbers that we got, and it's still, I think it was a great family-free activity. It was great to see still a lot of foot traffic throughout the downtown over that's Saturday, March 9th and 10th, and to see the businesses being busy. And that's, again, what these events, are all about, is to showcase the community, showcase the downtown, showcase the businesses, and give people a reason to come back for more. So our next meeting will take place March 26th, right here at City Hall at 7 p.m. We invite you to join us, and certainly if you want to consider volunteering for a number of the different events that we have throughout the year, we welcome that as well. Thanks.
Thank you. Item 610, Delaware Golf Commission. We have our meeting this Thursday at 5:30, I believe, right here. As I mentioned last month, we received a donation of $1.667 million to the Delbrook Golf Course. And it is to be used for improvements of the course, improvements of the facility or facilities. And that evening we did we approved to move $1 million of that and gave it to our finance director, Kelly, to put it in investment funds to start drawing interest on that. But the whole discussion was all about the things that could be done at Delbrook. And so I know Dan has put a list, I've seen it now, that we'll be discussing Thursday night, prioritizing what needs to be done. I know the cart paths we had already planned on doing, but there's a myriad of things that we can do, and of course we have to go through the process of getting out bids and bring it back to the commission, and either approving it and send it to the council. So it'll be several months before we get approvals for some of these things. But if you are interested in what's going on at Delbrook and want to have some input, come here Thursday night. Everybody's welcome to come. We just want to be judiciously on spending the money well. That's going to make the improvements for Delbrook for years and years and years and years to come. So, all right, item 611, Tourism Commission.
Mr. Mayor, the Tourism Commission did not meet in March. Our next scheduled meeting is for April 17th at 7:30 a.m. Everybody's invited to attend if they would like to. That's all I have on it tonight.
Okay, thank you. Item 612, Delaware Marietta School District. Ms. Sorby.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jill Sorby, the District Administrator for the school district. I'm grateful for this time to present to you, as always. So we have some exciting things that happened in the district for the last month. First of all, we have a senior, Trent Hernandez, who has been crowned the champion of the 3rd annual UW Whitewater Midwest High School Pitch Competition. Trent collaborated with a team of entrepreneurs. This team consisted of Lizzie Serkman, Aiden Showalter, and his CTE teacher, Mike Rick, along with local business Reichert Prosthetic Orthotics, business professional Elizabeth Bianchinad, I believe I'm pronouncing her name right. So anyways, this team created and worked with Mr. Henry Johnson Sr., who is no longer with us. Mr. Johnson lost his limb due to a medical condition. He passed away in the fall and this team was energized to work with him on trying to, or inspired by him to create an invention that would assist members who might have lost a limb. And so during his pitch, there were originally 58 applicants. They narrowed it down to 7 finalists, and this is Midwest. Trent and his team presented on February 27th, and he won the pitch competition, awarding him a full year of tuition at UW-Whitewater for next year. So we're quite proud of Trent. In addition to that, he will be, there are people that are looking to invest in his item that he's creating and his vision forward. So it's kind of exciting for Trent and his team. The next one is recently we hosted a realtor breakfast and tour. We had about 35 or so local realtors came in. We had our high school students share with them some of their experiences. They gave a tour of the high school and then went over to tour Turtle Creek in those classrooms there. Our goal is to share out what we're doing at the high school and have people understand about all the great things similar to what I do every month that's happening at the district level. So that was quite successful. Our musical at the high school, Footloose, had over 1,300 people attend. It's the highest or biggest success that we've had in years, so it was quite an event a couple weekends ago. We had one student qualify for the state swim competition in Madison. Senior Luca Lopez competed in the 200 individual medley. The individual medley consists of 50 meters of each of 4 strokes. He placed 12th place, so that's good for Luca. And then we had 7 wrestlers qualified for sectionals at the high school level. 2 of them advanced to the individual state wrestling meet in Madison. Cole Hansen advanced to 2nd place to finish with the 2nd place finish in the 120-pound weight class. And Owen Shelminiak advanced to 3rd place in the 132-pound weight class. Unfortunately, they were eliminated in the end, so, but we're quite proud of them. At the end of February, our 5th graders presented their annual wax museum, which was quite exciting for those students, where they got to portray historical figures. It was quite a night for learning for everyone involved. We had 55 girls that were in 5th and 6th grade participate in the Beautiful, if you recall me sharing that last month. They were building self-esteem, learning about self-care, self-defense, mindfulness, nutrition, yoga, makeup tips. They played some games and just did general community building with those 55 5th and 6th grade girls, so it's kind of fun for them. In addition, the next event was the 4th graders recently visited our state capitol, where they met our representatives. Our local representatives got some pictures taken with them, and that was fun for them to learn about our history up in Madison. And the last thing is our little 4-year-olds got to celebrate Clifford's birthday recently, and that was quite a successful outreach program for them. So that's what I have for this evening. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, item 7 under finance, I am requesting that we move item 9.7 with the resolution awarding the sale of $5.975 million general obligation maintenance facility building bonds, series 2019A, to start off as 7.0 for the Phoenix Park. Is there any objection, or is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
A motion, a second, any discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 All right. So, as I just read, resolution awarding the sale of the $5,975,000 general obligation maintenance facility building bond, series 2019A. Todd, want to come up here?
Thank you, Mayor. Prior to the meeting, I distributed a sale day report. I want to just remark on a couple of those pages in that document. If you can skip past the cover and the first summary page, you'll see the bid tabulation. So we took bids at 10 a.m. this morning. A total of 6 were received. They're listed in the order of the winning bid to the worst bid. The winning bid was out of Oklahoma City, the Baker Group. Important numbers, the one on the far right-hand side, the true interest rate of 2.8684. That's the basis upon which we recommend award. And on the page that follows, you can see where the other 5 bidders fell in. We had roughly 12/100ths of 1% difference between the best bid and the worst bid. We like to see that because that means we know that the pricing view was pretty consistent in terms of how the market saw the offering today. The page that follows that is the bond sizing sheet. So you had authorized us to offer for sale today $5,975,000 in bonds. We are reducing that size today based on the sale results by $80,000 down to $5,895,000. There's 2 reasons for that. One is that the cost of issuance were a little bit less than we had planned, and also what we call the underwriting discount was less. That's the amount we include that the underwriters can essentially take to compensate themselves. And they're bidding on that as well as the interest rate. So in this particular case, the winning bidder left about $20,700 on the table that they could have otherwise taken as their compensation, so that allows a reduction. The other aspect is, as we've seen for the last number of years, these bonds were purchased at a price greater than their face value, which we refer to as a premium. All total, you received about $209,000 in additional funds. What we are required to do under state law is deposit about $155,000 of that into your debt service fund, which will use to make interest payments on this obligation, but the balance of about $54,000 we're also able to use to reduce the issue side. So net impact, $80,000 less in bonds, same amount of dollars though for projects. And the resolutions that were sent to the city this afternoon have all the final amounts, interest rates and such included in those, so those signature copies will be correct. On the next page, we list the final debt service schedule. So this is populated with the actual interest rates. It takes into account that premium, and if you look sort of in the bottom center, what we have there is the pre-sale estimate with that original amount of $5,975,000 and the estimated interest. So on a forecast basis, we had projected that the debt service over the 20-year life of the bonds would be about $8.17 million. After taking that premium into consideration, your actual debt service will be about $7.94 million, so about $236,000 less than the estimate. And there was a question by Alderman DeWitt prior to the meeting, and if you look at the bonds that are highlighted in that red hashed line, those represent the bonds that are callable. So what that means is when we reach the year 2027 and you make your payment, at any time after that, you have the ability to prepay this issue or refinance the issue, so that you're locked in basically for the first 8 years, but then you've got the flexibility to restructure, pay off early, refinance for savings, whatever the market opportunities may be at that time. And last thing I would comment on is, as you're aware, we're allocating a portion of the water, the building's use to the water utility and the sewer utility. So we've recalculated that offset based on actual debt service. So if you look in that net debt service levy column, we would expect for your 2020 budget, you're going to have about a $50,000 reduction in the levy requirement for debt, and you can see that with no further debt added, you can see where that goes from there in terms of declining pretty substantially by the year 2022. So happy to answer any questions you may have. Otherwise, the simple act of approving the resolution has the effect of awarding the bonds, and you'll receive the funds on April 11th.
Any questions? Well, let's have the motion then.
Mr. Mayor, first I want to put, this bond issue is for the improvement of the maintenance building on Richmond Road, which is badly needed, and also combine water and sewer, park and rec, and the street department all in one location. And of course, the question everybody asks is, we're going to borrow $6 million, what is that going to do to my taxes? It should have no effect on your taxes. It's part of our long-term borrowing program. With that, I would move to approve the resolution awarding the sale of 5.975 general obligation bonds for the maintenance facility, building bond series 2019A.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
My screen was cut off.
Okay. There's been a motion, a second. Any other discussion?
Just want to clarify it, so it's the 5,895,000, correct? On the new ordinance with the reduction, okay.
That is correct. Yeah, my screen says 5.9, but we just mentioned it was 5.8.
All right, any other discussion? If not, may we have a roll call?
Alderman Schrader?
Yes.
Alderman Deshner Brandt?
Yes.
Alderman Henriot?
Yes?
Alderman Johnson?
Yes.
Alderman DeWitt?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, have a good evening.
You too. All right, item 7.1, consider Phoenix Park Playground proposal from Lee Recreation of Cambridge, Wisconsin, in amount not to exceed $84,000, and consider declaring existing playground equipment at Phoenix Park surplus property.
Mr. Mayor, first of all, with electronics, just before we went to the general obligation thing, my screen froze up and wouldn't move. Considering this is the only paperwork we have, it's just a little, whatever.
Disconcerting.
Yes, it is. This came, Carrie mentioned it earlier, this is the playground system at Phoenix Park. We have park impact fees of $84,500, which need to be used up this year. So this project was actually moved up, and fee dollars to replace this playground equipment, which is our heaviest used park in the city. There were 7 proposals from 5 different companies, and I would move to approve the purchase and installation of playground equipment and the concrete border as stated in the proposal 142-115667-1 at Phoenix Park from Lee Recreation of Cambridge, Wisconsin, at a cost not to exceed $84,000, and declare the existing playground equipment at Phoenix Park surplus property.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second?
Second by Ron. Any discussion? If not, may we have a roll call?
Alderman Deshner Brandt?
Yes.
Alderman Henriot?
Yes?
Alderman Johnson?
Yes.
Alderman DeWitt?
Yes.
Alderman Schrader?
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 7.2, consider approval of the payment to the Pro Phoenix Corporation for the annual maintenance agreement for Police Department Public Safety software at a cost of $15,831.90.
Again, Mr. Mayor, this came before Finance. This is the software the police department uses for all their records management systems and related functions, and obviously without the approval of the maintenance contract, the police department would be in a little bit of a concern. The cost is $15,831.90, up slightly from last year. I would make to approve that payment.
Is there a second to that motion?
I would second that.
Been a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, may we have a roll call?
Alderman Henriot?
Yes?
Alderman Johnson?
Yes.
Alderman DeWitt?
Yes.
Alderman Schrader?
Yes.
Alderman Deshner Brandt?
Yes.
Motion approved. 7.3, consider preliminary special assessment resolution for concrete sidewalk on Geneva Street between 6th Street and 7th Street.
Mr. Mayor, this came before Finance. This is due to the reconstruction of the Geneva Street roadway from 6th to 7th Street. The resolution is just to allow us to go out for bids for replacement of sidewalks, and then it comes back to the council for approval. So I would move to adopt the proposed preliminary special assessment resolution to allow for future discussion on the merits of assessing for the portion of sidewalk costs.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second?
Been a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I don't know if this is part of this discussion, but I did talk to the Public Works Committee, and I know we're not approving the sidewalk tonight, but my one concern was that the letters that had gone out to the constituents who this would be affecting didn't necessarily say that they would owe 50% of the sidewalk, and I don't know that everybody is aware that that is a factor. And just looking at the timing of this and the fact that they would probably have 7 to 8 months to save to pay for their share, just kind of makes me feel like it's not enough notice, because that's a lot of money to save for people who might be living paycheck to paycheck, and think maybe in the future it'd be nice to have more notice of that.
Okay. Good point.
They are given the option to spread out over a period of time if they wish to.
Okay. So they,
Usually at
3 to 5 years.
yeah, 3 to 5 years, even going out as far as 10.
okay.
So, and of course, the real debate comes when we get the actual, and they'll get that too, the actual cost that they will owe. And that's when the real discussion starts.
Yep.
We've had some really interesting discussions over
It
the
gets,
years.
it gets a little exciting.
Yeah. All right, any other discussion? Been a motion, a second. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passed. Item 7.4, consider authorizing the use of BLG Services, Burlington, Wisconsin, at an estimated cost of $8,500 for the removal and disposal of debris and garbage from the house and detached garage on the property at 942 East Wisconsin Street, which property is subject to raise or repair orders.
Mr. Mayor, this did come before Finance, and of course, discussion was about to clean the house out or raise the property. We did issue raise and repair orders on the property, and I don't believe the house is in structural damage, Mark?
Not that we can tell, but we can't see much of the house in its current condition.
So we thought we'd go with the option of having someone else clean out the property and then, of course, charge that back to the property, giving the owners of that property possibly to resell that property rather than just tear it down. So with that, I would move to authorize the hiring of BLG Services out of Burlington, Wisconsin, at an estimated cost of $8,500 for the removal and disposal of debris and garbage from the house and detached garage on the property at 942 East Wisconsin Street, identified as tax parcel XHE 0007, with all costs to be charged against the parcel as a special charge.
Second to that motion.
I would second.
Second.
Okay. Been a motion, second, any other discussion? If not, may we have a roll call?
Alderman Johnson.
Yes.
Alderman DeWitt.
Yes.
Alderman Schrader.
Yes.
Alderman Dessner Brandt.
Yes.
Alderman Henriette.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Item 7.5, approval of bills. Warrant 19-02.
Mr. Mayor, I would move for approval of warrant 19-02.
Is there a second?
I would second that.
Been a motion, second, any discussion? If not, may we have a roll call?
Alderman DeWitt.
Yes.
Alderman Schrader.
Yes.
Alderman Dessner Brandt.
Yes.
Alderman Henriette.
Yes.
Alderman Johnson.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 8, under General Operations Committee, 8.1, consider Class A permitted malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license for R&S Midway Market LLC at 505 Sugar Creek Street, Delavan.
It's a tough one.
Kalen, agent.
Mr. Mayor, I would go ahead and make said motion.
I will second that motion and note that the property is the Citgo station on Highway 11 going towards Elkhorn.
It must be the new owners that
Yes,
purchased it.
it is.
Okay. I just found that out this morning. Okay. There's been a motion, a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion passes. Item 8.2, consider amendment to section 2-3-13, parent G, parent 7 of the municipal code relating to procedures of municipal court to provide for the appointment of a court security guard.
Mr. Mayor, I would go ahead and make said motion.
Second.
Been a motion, a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just have a couple of things. Denise, if I recall correctly, this position will be supervised by the police department?
This position actually is under the municipal judge, but in the job description has to be with the concurrence of the police chief.
Okay.
Yes.
All
So just because of how the reporting structure is, it made sense to have the position report to the judge, because they really follow the instructions of the judge, but the judge needs to get the concurrence of the police chief in order to make the hire.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Okay, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 8.3, consider code amendment authorizing traffic signal at Lakeside Boulevard and Geneva Street.
Mr. Mayor, I would go ahead and make the motion to consider the code amendment authorizing the traffic signal at Lakeside Boulevard and Geneva Street.
Is there a second?
Second?
Been a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 8.4, consider amendment to the Title 10, Chapter 1, establishing no parking on Hobbs Drive, north of Mound Road, York Street, north of Hobbs Drive, and Lakeside Boulevard.
So moved.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 9, other business. 9.1, consider appointment to the library board to fill the remainder of a term ending in June of 2021, a partial. Library board application was Enrique Avila Montoya. Is there a motion?
I would go ahead and make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Is there a second?
Second?
Been a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 9.2, consider appointment to the Park and Recreation Commission to fill the remainder of the term ending April 2021, a partial. Ms. Travis Moley, 519 Herman Street. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion is second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 9.3, consider a resolution to amend the existing conditional use permit at 1145 East Geneva Street, allowing a group development for a multi-tenant building containing indoor sales or service and in-vehicle sales or service land use for the collision center, vehicle prep, final inspection, and associated offices land use within the business local zoning district with a wellhead protection overlay. Applicant is Kunis Country Collision Center.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would go ahead and make a motion to approve, and also find that, in that motion to take into consideration the conditional use findings listed in our recommended action on our memo, and the recommended conditions of approval that are also listed on our memo.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
It's been a motion, a second. Any discussion?
Yes, is the applicant aware of the conditions of approval?
Yes. Any other questions? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 9.4, consider a resolution to amend an existing conditional use permit at 1462 East Geneva Street to allow for reconstruction of a fast food restaurant, in-vehicle sales, or service land use within the business regional zoning district. Applicant Excel Engineering for Taco Bell.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would go ahead and make a motion to approve the resolution, and amending the existing conditional use permit, and to also include in the motion the conditional use findings that are attached to our memo, and the conditions of approval also attached to our memo.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion. My question is the Taco Bell going to tear down their existing building and rebuild in the same location?
Yep,
Yep.
same footprint.
And do they have a time frame?
3 months, I think.
I think they're supposed to be open in July.
Really?
Yeah, they're having an aggressive timetable.
Thank you.
My biggest concern that evening was,
When we made that part of our conditions,
and they agreed to it, that's the way I look at it, right?
widening the drive-through.
They did widen the drive-through by the order board, yes. Yeah, those plans are amended and they were included within your packet.
Just wanted to double check. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 9.5, consider adoption of an ordinance amending section 24.935, parent 1 of the City of Delavan zoning code relating to fees applicable to the City of Delavan.
Mr. Mayor, I would go ahead and make a motion to adopt the ordinance making the following changes to section 24.935, parent 1, the fees in our zoning code, subsection 1, parent F, be amended to the sign permit is a replacement of 100 or minor as determined, is now 35. Current amounts are 40 minimum or 35 cents per square foot of sign area. And then subsection 1, parent J, be recommended for interpretation per section 24.911. $50 current amounts is $100. And subsection 1, parent C, to be amended to in-ground swimming pools, 75, current amount is 25 for all pools. And subsection 1, parent P, be amended to fences above ground pools, driveway decks, $35, current is 35, amount only applies to fences.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Can someone explain interpretation? What does that mean?
It's asking the building inspector to give you a written interpretation as to what your question is, or an answer to a question regarding zoning.
Okay.
You don't remember asking that question?
There's so much I can't remember. For $50, asking a question?
Well, and I think you had said that.
That's cheap.
Oh, it is, okay. Well, I
That's
won't be
cool.
asking any questions.
Especially if we have to ask Mike to assist us in that interpretation.
Yeah, that too.
Or the city attorney.
Or the city
Or the
attorney.
city, yeah, especially city attorney. All right, there's been a motion and a second. Any other discussions? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. Item 9.6, consider a community development investment grant agreement between the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation and the City of Delavan relating to the Bergamot Brass Works project.
Mr. Mayor, I would go ahead and make a motion to approve said development.
I'll second the motion, I have a question. In here, we talked about this a little bit in finance, but in here you said you discussed it with general capital about the amended agreement transferring the financial responsibility to them,
Yes.
and also about reimbursing us for our administration costs. Has that been completed?
Yeah, that will be, they have agreed that they are willing to do that. There's no question that they will do that. That agreement will probably be coming in April. The state requires us to respond by March 27th, so, or 29th. So there wasn't time to do that, but they have provided me an email saying that they will agree to an amendment to either a development agreement or a separate agreement that provides for them to provide safeguards if there is any defaults in terms of the grant, and to do any costs related to both its processing and administration.
So is our recommendation, does it need to include that in the recommendation, or do we just need to bypass that and?
We'll have that at the April
at
or
the
May
final?
meeting, yeah.
Okay.
Well before the time that we would be requesting any funds under the grant.
Thank you.
Otherwise, the remedy is that we won't get the grant money, and they won't get the benefit of it.
So there's been a motion, a second, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, item 10, public comment. Citizens may address the chair at this time. You have about 2 minutes to talk about whatever you want to talk about. John? Oh, yes, yes.
Oh, this is neat because the one at church, I have to step on a stool because they can't see me. I'm Lois Stritt, and I have Bradley's Department Store in downtown Delavan. And I just received this beautiful letter from the Delavan Historic Foundation. I'm going to share one sentence with you. The sentence is, so many things are changing in our beloved Delavan. Big chain stores on the outskirts of the city. Challenges and opportunities within the schools. But the one thing that stays constant is the beauty and wonder of our downtown. I often wonder how many of you older people ever get downtown to see how we're doing. You don't need to buy anything. Every now and then, come down, walk through a store, and see how we're doing. Please, I would really appreciate it, and I know I'm not the only downtown person who feels that way. Bradley's has been in Delavan for 167 years. I haven't been there the whole time. I need to make that clear. I'm here to beg you, whether I'm still in business a year from now, to support the Delavan Train Show. On Saturday of the Delavan Train Show 2019, we had 1,900 people in our business. They didn't necessarily buy something, but it was fabulous. It was fun to see all those cute families. It was fun to see thousands of people downtown Delavan. It's the biggest thing that happens in our downtown. Please, please, keep supporting the train show. Please, please, do not let it leave our beautiful, unique downtown. Thanks for listening to me.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? It'd be kind of hard to top that one. All right, I will close the public comments. Item 11, suggested future agenda items. Are there any? I think there is none. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.